Well, today we are going to discuss what few people can discuss because you can't teach what you don't know. But that money actually has ears. I don't look at money as being something that people possess. I look at money as a force that all by itself is making decisions and it's telling you what to do with it. There's an interesting what if or a proposition that your money is telling you what it wants to do and you just do what it says. That's an interesting thought at the very least. But what I can do is tell you that money does listen and it does look. It looks for better things to do than it's doing today. As far as money goes, it has certain questions that it's always asking. And the minute that it hears about an opportunity, money wants to know, when will I return home? And how much more money is going to come home with me? Now, that's if it's a for-profit opportunity. Now, if it's a nonprofit opportunity, money wants to know if it's going to earn some human interest. Because bank interest these days is squat. What are you making? If you've got a bank giving you 2% for your money, that's a miracle. The biggest bank robbers out there are the banks. And they're making a fortune on every dollar that you put in. They can actually loan out 10 times the face value of every dollar you deposit. Do you think they're making money with your money? Of course. Now, here's the thing. We always hear that it takes money to make money. But I want to suggest that there are currencies that we're not considering. And so I'll touch on those currencies. That's a whole different lesson. But the point of the matter is, if you believe that nobody will invest in you, you are right. If you believe that you're worth investing in, you are right. If you believe that the right people just need to hear about your passion and your vision, you are right. If you believe that everybody can lead you to somebody, you're also correct. And that people, when they're listening to you talk, they may be actually thinking, you know who I know that they need to know that would probably invest in them? They probably have a couple people coming to mind, and they're sitting there. They're not really listening to your pitch. They're just making a decision. You're sitting there and you're pitching them, and you're using this part of the brain. Let's call that the neuro part of the brain. In the neuro part of the brain, you're trying to make this sophisticated pitch. You're giving all the benefits and all the values, and you're showing, let me make sure that I mix in some passion and convince people that I'm committed to this project, vision, dream, idea, whatever it is. And that way I can let them know that I'm really going to do what I say I'm going to do with that money. They're listening with the frontal lobe. Call this the crocodile, the primitive, the caveman part of the brain. They're just deciding, do I trust you? Should I run? Are you likable? Do I want to know anything more? Should I even be listening to your pitch? Now, the thing is, if you get rid of all that and you say, I am not talking to a person, I'm actually being heard by money itself, the whole game changes. Because the money is sitting there going, I like this pitch. I don't like being pitched, but this person seems genuine. And all I want to know right now is, okay, let's say I gave you $10,000. What's going to come back to me? And how soon is it going to come back to me? Is it going to come back in the form of interest? Is it going to come back in the form of multiples? Now, when you're doing seed round capital raising, or you're just getting donations for a foundation or a ministry, money doesn't expect to come back in multiples. When money is investing for the long haul, it's coming back, it wants to come back in the multiple of 10. Why 10? Because the investor knows that 9 out of 10 of the projects he or she invests in this year will go south. And it needs one project that will get all his money back, all her money back. So the thing that you have to know is that there are key words, and those key words trigger the ears of money. I'll give you an example. If I was to say to you that I have a vision that's about city centers, and you say, what are they? And I said, oh, they're city destination locations designed to empower people and communities. The money still hasn't heard a thing. You did. You have a clue. But the money's going, what's that look like business-wise? It's a super franchise with subset franchises operating in and outside of the context of the super franchise. Here's what money just heard. Franchise, franchise, franchise. That to money means money, money, money. And so those terms are critical. They're of key importance. Now, I want to get into this actual lesson. And the actual lesson involves people making a shift. And the shift is going from what we all feel when we talk to people or we ask for money. We feel needy. And the truth of the matter is that need repels. You know, you ever notice that? There'll be one person at the corner at the red light, and they've got a sign there, and they look downtrodden. They're hoping somebody will help them. And you can't even look at them. You don't know why. It's not because you're not compassionate. Just something just doesn't feel right. And then you go and you see this mom and this dad and their 3 kids on the street corner, and they're kidding with each other and they're joking, holding a sign, whole homeless family, mom and dad both willing to work for money. And they're waving and they're going, God bless you, thank you. And you're going, you know what? I think I got a $10 bill here. Just knocked my microphone, but that's 2 seconds of adjustment. And you're going, I don't know why. Maybe I'll give them 20. They just look like they're appreciative. They're going through life. They are doing their best. And they're telling you their situation, but they're not going, oh, we need money. The one that's going, we need money, you're going, oh my God, light change, please turn the light. I don't want to look over because some part of me that goes, I hope this is just a scam artist, because you really do care. But money is repelled by need. It's attracted to vision, passion, and team. I used to do a call for 4 years every Wednesday night. And it was so that people could join an organization that was $10,000 basically between expenses, hotel, and everything. The membership was like $6,500. So you needed $10K to show up and have a life-changing experience, meet the kings and queens of industry. And people would find out about it and go, oh my God, I got to be there. But my credit cards are maxed out. I don't have any extra cash. And then they'd go, but I know I'm supposed to be there. So they would get referred to a call that I ran. And so when everyone would come on that call at 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, I'd open up and go, how many of you love to ask other people for money? You got the usual, are you kidding me? No way. I hate asking people for money. Boo, hiss. And I'd say, okay, that's good. And you know what the other part that's frustrating is that whenever you ask for money, 98% of the time, all you're ever going to get back is wisdom. Wisdom. When you ask for money, you'll get wisdom almost every stinking time. So I teach, never ask for money. Ask for wisdom. You know, there's an event that's at a local college here every Wednesday, and people are there, and they're doing pitches of their businesses. And one of the things that they can ask for 3 things, and one of the things is money. So whenever I had companies that went there to pitch, I would tell them, don't ask for money. You ask for wisdom, team, and mentors. Because all 3 of those things will open the doors for a conversation that money gets the opportunity to overhear. That's pretty powerful. So if you need money, ask for wisdom, team, and mentors, especially if you need money for something that's going to be revenue producing or something that's going to be producing a service or delivering a product to people that need it, whether it's in a for-profit or a nonprofit sense. It doesn't matter. So on this phone call, I'd say, okay, how many of you have a company vision for a nonprofit where your outcome is you are helping people? Well, of course, everybody did. So that meant that everyone on this everybody on this call needed to stop perceiving that they were going to feel needy if they discussed this opportunity in front of somebody that might be able to help them. They needed to get the revelation that they were needed because their product, their service, their ministry, their foundation was needed by humanity. So I say, okay, everybody, are you needy in the world or are you needed by the world? One more time. Are you needy in the world or needed by the world? Well, the conclusion would be everybody on the call was needed by the world. Okay, great. I'm going to teach you some things tonight that are going to shift everything. You need 10K to get out there. You need a little bit more, you got to ask for a little bit more. But never ask for more than you are comfortable speaking about, because money senses when you're talking in a range that you're not used to touching. And if it senses that that's a lot of money to you, then it goes, I'm never getting my money back. To them, this is a lot of money. So they've probably never managed this much money before. So I'll give you a first little tip. If you ever use the word dollars, only use it in the sense of talking about a savings when you're offering a service or product. You'll save $10,000 Memorial Day weekend if you come down and buy the new Dodge Durango. $10,000 through Monday. Savings, dollars. Now, if you're talking about asking for money, you're talking about borrowing money, then you got to shift that. You got to go, yeah, 10K. When you say it in a nonchalant form, number one, dollars has a way of triggering things inside of everybody. And there's emotions attached to it for too many people. And so the minute you get the emotional side of the person that might have some money involved, you're starting to bring a hindrance, a stumbling block into the conversation. So here's where we're going to go. You are going to be discussing with somebody your opportunity. You're going to talk about it in under a minute, but you're going to be setting up meetings. By the end of this training, you're going to know how to set the meeting up. You're going to know exactly what words to say. I've already been telling you what words not to say. You're never going to say, well, to get to the next phase of development in our operation, we need, no. That's a cuss word. You will not use the word need. You may say we're only 10K shy of our first phase of development. Who do you know that might be interested? That's where you were going to go. This is going to be a who do you know experience. And it's going to be based around setting up 10-minute wisdom meetings. Now, I'm going to give you that lesson in a minute, but this is how I took the call at this point. Figure that it's Wednesday night right now. You need to be in LA. You have the opportunity to meet investors, to meet people that have incredible biographies that could go on your website and be associated with you, giving you the credibility you need for money to go, oh, I think they could actually do what they say they're going to do. You know, if you have an A-level team and a B-level plan, you are funded. If you have an A-level plan and a B-level team, you're not going to be funded, because money is more interested in the team that supports you. So you're going to use the word team. You're going to refer to it enthusiastically. When I get through and I give you the sound bite that you're going to use, it's going to take you under 40 seconds to say what you have to say and for money to go, okay, so what are you offering? Because that's what money always wants to know. When it's going to get involved in something, it wants to know what's in it for me. Money wants to know, am I going to increase if I associate with you? That's if you're a for-profit. Or if you're a nonprofit, it wants to know, am I going to get a tax deduction and do a greater good for mankind? That's all it needs to know. And if it's doing something right now in a nonprofit sector or in a ministry sector, and it doesn't see that there's been a really good return on that investment, and you tell them about all these extra lives that are going to be touched, that money will go from this nonprofit to this ministry, or this ministry to that nonprofit at the speed of thought. That's how quickly money responds. So if that responds that way in a positive aspect, it also responds that way in a negative aspect. That's why when you say the word need, money just said no, and you haven't even finished, you have barely even started to talk about what it is you're talking to the money about. So on this training, this is where we're going to go. I'm going to say, I want you to build a list. I want you to build a list of every name that comes to mind. I don't care if it has the name of your dead third grade math teacher. Just write the name down. The purpose of the exercise is to remind you of how many people you really do know. You know, if everyone knows at least 250 people, and then some of us know a lot more, and tens of thousands of people, and then there are people that are known by millions of people. All you need is to get in front of one of those people that knows more than 250 people. But the truth is, if you know 250 people, do you think one of those people might support you if you knew how to ask? Yeah, they would. The chances are a whole lot better. I'm going to give you an exercise right now where 1 out of 5 are the numbers that you're looking at, where your success rate is going to be. 1 out of 5, not 1 out of 250 or 10,000. So you do this list building exercise, and the point of the list building exercise isn't even to use it. The point of the list building exercise is to stir up all the names that you know and keep adding to the list. You know, I give people an hour to do this exercise. But you know, you're walking around, you're whistling, and you're sweeping the floor, you're washing the dishes. Oh, another name. Go put the other name down, because you don't know. Later on, you might want to go back, and before you do what really gives you the faces of the people that are going to actually support you, you might want to reread that list and just get it all up there. You might be somebody that meditates. You might be somebody that prays. But I'm going to tell you what, if you don't have a higher power of some sort, you're probably going to fail at this exercise. But if you do, it's almost 99% sure you're going to have, in 72 hours, $10,000 in your hand. I'm not even allowed to use this exercise for my own self, because the purpose of this exercise is to help support dreams and visions that are in motion and going somewhere. This is not an exercise that you use to pay your bills, to pay creditors. Money doesn't want to ever invest in your past. Money doesn't want to invest in your past. Money is only willing to invest in your enlarged tomorrow, especially if it knows that lives are going to be changed. And not your life, the lives of the people that are around you. You know, it might feel good that your life got changed a little bit, but it's about doing more than helping one person at a time. Money is looking at multiples, even when it's satisfied with interest. The multiples are the other people that it can help you to touch. Now, you've done this hour exercise. You've got all these names. Now, I want you to grade them, A, B, C. A, they may have resources. They may support you. B, you don't know if they have resources. You don't know if they'll support you. And C, ain't no way. Now, what's really amazing about this is, you know, I would have people that would go, "Oh, Mr. Ward, can I have your email or your phone number so that I can call you if I get stuck on this or I need questions trying to shape my little 1-minute pitch?" Yeah, I'll give you my email. So the thing that was interesting about it would be, I had many people go, "Well, I had about 7 A's on my list that I think have resources and I think will support me. I had about 13 B's, and I had about 100 C's." 100 people that were, ain't no way, even if they had the money, they wouldn't invest in me. And then I would say, do you know what? I've told people to practice what I'm about to teach you on ain't no ways, and they got checks for $5,000 and $10,000 from somebody they were sure in their own mind was an ain't no way. One of the reasons it was an ain't no way is they had never learned how to talk to money. So everything that they had ever done in their life around those people that they thought were ain't no ways was telling those people that this person isn't ever going to amount to much. They're always talking about some big dream, but I never see them doing it. The people in your past and the people in your present, they're very comfortable with your past and your today. But they are very uncomfortable when you start to discuss an enlarged tomorrow. Because if they start to subconsciously, unconsciously, either way, they start to think that, you know what, this person may actually accomplish what he's talking about. They're going forward. Well, if you're going forward, they're thinking, I'm getting left behind. They might not have had that conscious thought, but something inside is saying, they're going forward, I'm going nowhere. And they're recognizing that you're taking initiative and they're not. So that's why you're going to go forward, is because you're going to take the initiative and take this lesson to heart, and you're going to do it. And I would even take, if you're going to play this back to yourself, take every little sound bite from this point of the video on and stop and write the sound bite down, whether that's 5 words or 10 words. And make a list of all the sound bites. So I'm going to start off with a list. You're going to make a phone call when we get through with this exercise to faces that come to your mind when you take the time to ask for faces. Who are you going to ask for? Remember I said you better have a power that's bigger than yourself, that you're communicating with, that you're in relationship with. Yeah, you're going to, if you're a universe person, you're going to ask the universe. If you're a Jesus person, you're going to ask Jesus. So whatever it is, you're going to go, give me 5 faces. What? Give me 5 faces. And God, I promise you, I will call those 5 faces in the order that you give them to me. There's something about holding to your word. You're saying, I'm going to do this if you do this. So if you give me 5 faces, I promise you, God, universe, I will call these names in the sequence that you give me the faces. There's just something about obedience. And so if you do that, follow through with your word. Keep your word. Because when you're going to a higher power, the higher power knows who has how much money, who has what type of a heart, who has been watching you for years, and who has an interest in your well-being. Far more than you do. You only have your perception of what people think of you. But there may be more people in your life that actually think that you're going somewhere than you know. There may be more people in your life that are going, I wonder how I could help them to move forward. But you're not picturing that. So now here's the lesson, guys. Ready? You want 10K in the next 72 hours? Here we go. Now, keep in mind, whatever you believe is true to you, whether it's true or not. If you believe you'll have this 10K, 20K, 15, 7,500 in the next 72 hours, and you're going to do what I'm going to teach you to do right now, you will have it. If you don't believe you'll have it in the next 72 hours, you're probably not going to do what I'm about to teach you, and you won't have it. It's that simple. I had over 400 people that I had on those calls that a week, oftentimes days later, I would be in LA at this event, and they're coming up, Mr. Ward, I was on your call on Wednesday night, and I saw no way of getting there, but I pictured what you said on the beginning of the call. Do you see yourself there next week? Yeah. Okay, because if you can't see yourself doing something or being somewhere, you won't be. You have to envision it. You can't receive what you can't perceive. You can't receive what you can't perceive. So if you can't see that this is going to work, what are you doing watching this? Send it back for the refund, okay? Because you have to do the lesson when the lesson's shared with you. Because I'm telling you that like 400 out of 400 that I know of on just that one call, let alone all the people and companies I've helped since, 22,000 off of somebody else's call, that it's worked for them. So I can't argue with the results. I believe this message because I've seen the fruit and the results of this message. So here we are. Okay, you made your list. You got A, B, and C. Now, the funny thing is, I used to really flip people out and go, throw the list away now. They're thinking, why did I make this list? I told you the reason you made the list was to remind you that you know a lot more people than you think you do. And to stir it up so that when you're going to God, when you're going to the universe, and you're saying, oh, please, just drop some faces in, they will. They will just boop, 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 and they'll come fast. You don't need more than 10 minutes for this next part of the exercise. Here's the next part of the exercise. Close your eyes. No music, especially if you're going to have music, nothing you can sing along with. Just, I find with all my friends that are always praying to the universe, they meditate a lot. I find with all my friends that are praying to God, they pray a lot. But the ones that pray a lot don't meditate much, and the ones that meditate a lot don't pray much. And there needs to be balance in both areas. So just take some time. If you're a praying person, try to pray a little less. Just go, thank you in advance. Thank you. And now shut up. And I promise you, you're going to have 5 faces, and you write them down. Now, you just promised, you give me 5 faces, I will call them in the sequence you give them to me. You would not believe the number of times that people came to me and said, it was one of the first 3 people that were on my list. You were obedient, and you responded. You took this lesson to heart, and in faith, you acted upon it. Okay? That's why it worked. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go, oh God, 5 faces. That's all I'm asking for. I believe in those 5 faces. The resources that I'm looking for right now will show up. Those resources have titles. The title, if you're a for-profit, is seed capital, okay? And the title, if you're a nonprofit, is donations, charitable giving. So here's what happens. Now you're going to call those 5 faces, and you're going to say, I know I just met you in the elevator last Wednesday, and I'm so honored that you gave me your card. And you know what? This morning I was kind of meditating, and I was going, I need some wisdom. I need wisdom from a neutral third party. You know, if you have somebody ask you for wisdom, will you ever be offended? No. Nobody is ever offended. Matter of fact, you're kind of like, wisdom? Me? You see wisdom in me? You're flattered. So I promise you, if you call the person you met in the elevator or in the grocery store line last week that you happened to get contact information from, and you say, I was just kind of praying, meditating, and going, I need some wisdom from somebody that doesn't know me, that will give me a real fair assessment of what I'm trying to do. Your face was stuck in my head. I would be so honored if I could get 10 minutes of your time. I promise if it takes 11 minutes, it'll be your fault. I'm going to keep this. I want to honor your time. I would be honored. 10 minutes. Let me buy you a coffee. Is there a Starbucks or something that's really close to your office or your home? I don't want you driving to me. I will come to you. 10 minutes. Now, the other person is going to say, what do you want to talk about? Well, that's the whole thing. I even need to be overheard saying what it is, because down the road, I may actually need to go out and pitch and ask for money. But I just need somebody to give me an opinion, an overview of the words coming out of my mouth. Do they resonate with you? Do you feel the reality of what's in my heart to do when I speak about them? Yeah, okay, 10 minutes? Yeah, I'd be honored. Another time, maybe we can go deeper. I would love to get to know you better. Maybe you'll let me take you to lunch in a couple weeks. Everything is based on sowing and reaping. The sowing is you just sowed honor. If you sowed honor into this person, and they even recognize a little bit that you genuinely are calling them up because you think their input could be of value. You might even have said, I looked you up on LinkedIn, I read your profile. Wow, you've got an amazing story. I would just be honored to get somebody with your background to give me some positive feedback, negative feedback, just truthful feedback. Friends and families are the last ones to ever support you moving forward. The other person's going to go, yeah, you got that right. They know the dream killers in your life are generally your friends and your family. I'm going to give you one more thought to really chew on. What if everything for your future is coming from your future? Everything for your future coming from your future. I was in front of a bunch of CEOs, and they asked me, why, at the end of the meeting, we had a little extra time, any questions? Why do you network so much? Well, what if everything for your future is coming from your future? And they're going, what? Okay. If it was coming from your present or coming from your past, wouldn't you already be in your future? Everyone raise your hand in the room that's already in your future. Nobody. Okay. There it is. So consider that this person that you met in the elevator last weekend is a part of your future, because they certainly weren't a part of your past, and they still aren't a part of your present. Not until you have your first sit down. Until you have a face-to-face with somebody, don't consider that you've begun to even get to first base in that relationship. Telephone calls that last for 5 hours, that's wonderful. But the truth is, face-to-face, everything changes. Some call it heart math. You get a much better read of each other. And you get a better sense. Over the phone, who knows? That person could be making faces at you, but trying to sound sincere. You got to do this face-to-face. You're not going to take the lesson I'm giving you right now and doing this over the phone. So you're calling them up and you go, I would be honored to have 10 minutes of your time. What about Tuesday at 2 o'clock? Take control of what's happening now. You pick the time. Don't say when's a good time for you, because there's no time that's a good time. They don't even know you. So you say, would 2 o'clock next Tuesday be good? And they might say, 3 o'clock I could do. Okay, you just got an appointment. Now, the first thing that you have to keep in mind, too, is that if they took your call, you already have favor with that person. If they have now said, yes, I'll meet with you for 10 minutes, that's evidence that your favor with that person is actually more than you thought it was, and that you might have made a better first impression than you even think. So now here you are. It's next Tuesday, and it's 3 o'clock, and you're there 10 minutes early. Did you know that tardiness is a manifestation of rebellion? It's tied to ego. It's tied to pride. And you being early, Vince Lombardi time was, if you were on that team, you were there 10 minutes early, you were on time. If you were on time, you were late. And if you were 10 minutes late, you didn't get to play football that Sunday. That's how the Packers ran their team. That's how I've run companies that I've run in the past. And everyone wanted to hire my employees. Why? Because they understood the value of time. And when you dishonor somebody's time, you've dishonored them. So you want to make sure you're at this meeting at 3 o'clock next Tuesday with the person you met in the elevator last Wednesday at 10 of 3 at the very least. I am usually 15 to 30 minutes early because I want to honor the time of the other person. I can always put my time alone in a car or whatever to good use. That's never the problem. So first tip, get there 10 minutes early. Second tip, you might want to, if you're a for-profit, go to Staples, spend 99 cents, and get something called a promissory note. And I can give you a little addendum that I could audibly give you here on this training that you could just pencil in that makes it a convertible promissory note. Because most of the people that I was coaching on those calls, down the road, were going to be raising much more capital. But in order to get out to where the money was, in order to get out and get all the lessons they needed in legal compliance, to learn about corporate engineering and capital development, they needed money to get there. Once they learned all that stuff, now they could go and start learning all about raising capital. And so that's why the convertible promissory note, because I'm going to give you a tip at the end of this as to how even this $10,000 promissory note can be eradicated by converting it to stock in the company when you go to raise the capital. And so you've just taken debt and turned it to equity. You wiped out the debt. It's amazing. So here's the deal. You're thinking to yourself, okay, what am I going to say when they call me? That they say, okay, so what are you offering? I'll give that to you in a moment. Your friend has just shown up. It's 3 o'clock. They're on time. And you're going to now talk to them for 8 minutes minimal about them. You are going to sow undivided attention into them. Do you think that you might reap 1-2 minutes of undivided attention from them? Of course you will. It might even be out of guilt. They're going, oh my God, this is 10 minutes. I was supposed to be giving you some assistance, some overview. You want some wisdom on something? Yeah, that's okay. No, it's been worth this first 8 minutes. I really love your story, getting to know you. How do you keep them talking about themselves for 8 minutes? Where'd you come from? Where were you born? Where's your hometown? Brothers, sisters? So what kind of interest did you have in school? Where did you go to school after school? And so how did you get into the business that you're in now? Are you married? You have kids? I mean, you can keep somebody busy for 8 minutes in your sleep. You don't even have to be a professional networker or BS character. You can get anybody to talk about themselves for 8 minutes, and they don't even realize it, because people love to talk about themselves. So number one, you just gave them the opportunity to go, wow, somebody's listening to my story for 8 minutes. They are liking you more and more and more by the minute, because you are sowing undivided attention into them. They're starting to go, oh, this person cares about people. I think this person cares about me. Do you want to do business and do anything with anyone that you think cares about nobody but themselves? Never. So trust me, it's going to be worth taking 8 minutes to hear their story. And then you say, well, you know what? I promised you I was going to get you out of here in 10 minutes, so this is where I'm at. Thank you so much. First of all, you have honored me, and I am so honored just to get to know you even a little bit here. I hope that I can take you to lunch in the next couple of weeks and we can go deeper. But bottom line is this. I am at this point now in my present venture. You couldn't know this because it's not on LinkedIn or anything else, but my purpose on earth, I figured it out. I know what I am to do with my life for the rest of my life. I know what I'm willing to die for. And I know and I have the product or the service or the vehicle to touch lives globally. Ding, money just goes, what? Money just saw a cash register open up. Touch lives globally? Money does not want to invest in a mom and pop pizza shop down the street that's just like the mom and pop pizza shop down the other end of the street, because that doesn't hold promise. But if you have a revolutionary way of delivering pizzas, maybe you've got a secret sauce for your pizzas that's just out of this world. Okay, then there may be something there, and money goes, this could be big, because it wants to do something better than it's doing today. That's a lesson that I'm trying to just keep threading in. Just keep in mind that money's going, I'm bored, I'm restless. Money is always restless. It wants to do something so much better than it's doing today. So you say, so where I'm at right now, you know, with our company and where we're moving this, we've got an incredible team. Earlier in the video, I said to you, team is a very important word that makes money go, oh, this is not a one-man show. A one-man show, in my terms, is called dead meat on the battlefield of life. Money doesn't trust one person to accomplish anything on their own power because they know that you're probably going to lean on your own understanding. You're probably even saying, you know, God gave me this idea and I can't understand why I'm not funded. Well, maybe God is smart too. And God is saying, you don't have the team capable of executing the dream. Why would I give you the money? So you're sitting there and going, so I got to lie? If you're going to do anything successfully, you're going to figure out sooner or later that you can't do it on your own. So I hope that you're not going to lie. I hope that you take this message to heart and go, I got to build a team. That's the first thing. I've been telling people for the last 14 years, you need a team, you need a team, you need a team, you need a team. And you know what God's been telling me for the last 14 days? You need a team, you need a team, you need a team, you need a team. And it's time. It's true. But it's also time for me to take something to the world. This is just one of so many messages. I could sit here and fun bust you right now and just go, well, you know where I am right now? I've got an incredible team. I'm 10K shy of the first phase of development. Who do you know that wants to impact lives? That's how difficult your pitch is. That's your pitch. This is what I'm on earth to do. I'm willing to die for it. I've got an incredible team, and we're going to take this to the world. And we're 10K shy on our seed round for raising the funds for where we're going. Who do you know that might want to change lives? Cure cancer, dig water wells, give alkaline water to, whatever it is. So that's really hard. Do you think that you can get a pitch down that's 20 seconds? Of course you can. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to sit there and you go, and who do you know? And you're going to go, you're just going to smile. You're just going to shut up. When you take sales trainings and you get to the point where it's time for the close, they say the first one to talk loses. This is where you say, and who do you know that might be interested in digging water wells in Africa? Or in this new desalination process that we have that can convert the ocean to drinking water. Smile. Let them speak first. And because money has its own ears, and money is always looking for a better opportunity, so it must have eyes. Money must have a mind of its own, too. And money is going to now ask you, so what are you offering if I were to give you this $10,000 you need? I like you. I'm kind of interested. You say you have a team. Yeah, we have a great team. Okay. All right. So what are you offering me, Mr. For-Profit, Mrs. For-Profit? A convertible promissory note that's 12 months. It'll pay 12% simple interest. 1% interest, you will get a check on the first of every month. If I have to knock on your door at 11:58 on the first of the month to get it to you, I am committed to building my credibility with you, because I think down the road when you see where we're going, you may say, you know what, I need to invest more in this, because this party, this team, this vision does what it says it's going to do, and it's never late, it's never tardy, even to a meeting. Or if I say I'm going to have a phone call at 2, they're sitting there at 5:02 waiting for my call. You know, your credibility comes through your actions. So now this is the deal. If you're a nonprofit, they're going to go and say, so, okay, I take it that you're a nonprofit or you're a ministry? Yeah. Well, you can't offer me much. Well, yeah, I can. I can get you a tax deduction for the full amount. That's got to have far greater value off the top of your line than 1% interest it's making at the bank right now. But they're going to go, can't argue that point, you know. And you say, but you're going to earn human interest, because think of all the lives that will be touched when we take this product service to the world. Okay, pretty compelling. Shut up again. Let them ask whatever question comes to mind. But I'll tell you what, money is something that has few words. If you answered either of those questions as a for-profit or a nonprofit correctly, money pretty much knows right now that from here on out, it's based on, does it trust you? Remember back when I was saying you're pitching? That's why telling your story is more important than telling your pitch, because they'll connect with your story. Be transparent. You know, be you. Do not be a salesperson. And share in as few words as possible. Powerful, concise words convey a message that allows money to hear more than you even said. And people around me probably get tired of this soundbite, but the more you say, the less they hear. The less you say, the more they hear. That's why I want to kind of wrap this up now, because I've given you plenty to work with. But this is what's going to work out. I could sit here, and it's probably not a bad idea to do it now that I'm thinking about it. I could tell you story after story after story of people that they did this lesson in my own local chapters and clubs for that organization, and they say, oh, man, I want to go. And I would give them the personal touch and teach them personally. This has to be on video now, because there's too many people that need to learn how to talk to money. Doing this one at a time is not going to allow me to impact the world at the rate that we need to impact the world. There's a lot of dreams and visions wanting to come forth. So here's a good example. Sonia, I won't say her last name. Sonia comes and she says, okay, so I'm going to ask God for 5 faces. That's right. And I got to call him up and ask to set up a 10-minute wisdom meeting. That's right. Okay. Well, a week later, she doesn't call me and tell me that the next day she had 15,000. She didn't have 10,000. She had literally met a pastor of somebody else's church in an elevator, called him up and said, you know, I was praying and I was looking for wisdom, and your face came to mind. He said, all right, I'll give you 10 minutes. Let's sit down and talk about it. Do you know, I bet you that pastor never wrote anybody in his church a $7,500 check before, but he wrote her one. What? Yeah, he wrote her one. And the second phone call she made was to a doctor. And the doctor says, just call the front office and tell them that I've agreed to see it for 15 minutes, okay? And, or for 10 minutes. And she says, okay. So she sets an appointment. Believe it or not, her doctor, who knows, maybe she spent a lot of money with him over the years, but her doctor agreed to give her $7,500. She had, in her first 2 calls, $15,000. And so the following week, she's jumping up and down telling me about it. I go, weren't you jumping up and down over the last week since this happened the day after I gave you this lesson? Oh, yeah, but I had to get to work. You know, I had to get some clothes and stuff. Now that I'm going to L.A. and I'm going to be out there meeting all these people. So she just got busy and got ready for the trip. Now, I'm going to give you just one really bizarre instance. I had a fellow that says, listen, okay, I'm going to do what he said. He calls me up and he says, I got 5 faces. Great. 2 of them I've never seen before. What? That to me, I didn't want to ruin the guy's faith, but I'm going, that's bizarre. This, in my experience, you got to know the person, at least have met them once in a grocery store line. But he goes, no, I've never seen these faces before. I just said, well, that's great. That must mean that you're going to meet them right away. One of those faces he met 3 days later on a Tuesday. And he calls me up that afternoon. He goes, I met one of the faces today, and they actually stopped, and we had a meeting, and it went like an hour. And I'm going, an hour? He goes, yeah, we became best friends right then and there. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. They gave me all the money. He had never even met them yet, and he got the check. That's a faith builder for you. So there are more details that I can get into, but I think that I've given you the beef of how to be able to raise seed capital for your nonprofit or your for-profit. And it's really a matter of your being able to perceive that somebody just might help you, but it's because you kind of bypassed all this head-to-head stuff. You know, when you do it this way, nobody has ever asked somebody, do you have a business plan I can look at? If you bring up the word business plan, they're going to want to see one. And when somebody asks to see a business plan, that's their way of saying no. It's a stall tactic. It's a delay. Money has its own ears. It's just discerning with what it's hearing that you're for real, that you're going to do what you're going to say you're going to do with the money, and that you're worth gambling on. That's it. No business plans are needed. You know, and by the way, just for any of you that's about to go do a business plan, if you don't even have a need to raise $1 million or more, you don't even legally need a business plan. A 2-page business summary would be more than enough, okay? That's a little freebie I just threw in there for you. So I'm glad that you were able to join me today on Money Has Ears. If there are questions, and there are always answers, and if there aren't, I'm quick to say I don't know the answer. But this is one lesson where I've had so many people do it so well, so successfully, so many times, that I can assure you that I probably do have the answers. And it's all in the words that you use. It's all in the passion that you display. And it's all in the confidence that you have inside of you that you're not needy in the world. You, my friend, are needed by the world. Thank you very much. I'm Don Ward. And the best place to contact me, I'll give this to you right here. You can play it back if you don't get it the first time, is D.L. Ward. Donald Lewis Ward. D.L. Ward 153 at Gmail. And my cell, I'm going to say, because you've invested in this video, that I want a personal relationship with you. Because you've sown into me, I will sow into you. And I assure you, I always try to make sure that the other party comes out feeling like they won. 407-702-9499. Thanks for being with me today on Money Has Ears. And it's listening to every word. Thank you.